What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the LIV'N podcast, and we have a very, very, very special guest today.
My dog.
This guy's been on tour. I call him Mr. International. He's been all over the map, in the country, out of the country, rapping, reggaeton, bringing all the vibes. And with no further ado, we have Riaga.
Oh, look, it's the
How you doing,
guy.
man?
Oh man, I'm doing amazing. How about you,
I'm
King?
doing good. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
man.
coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, bro. We've been talking about this for a minute now. So
Yeah.
finally being in the studio, getting in the building. I just pulled up like 5 minutes ago. This is fresh. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
yeah,
No.
thanks for having me,
Yeah,
bro.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to get right into it. You had such an amazing year this past year,
Thank you, bro.
and you did so much traveling. You did so many shows. You met so many different people.
Mhm.
And so in the grand scheme of things, I kind of just want you to break it down for everyone. Like, what was are those experiences like for you? How was the tours? What did you take away from it? Highs, lows, just yeah, everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first and foremost, shout out It's Gorgeous Music, Scott Morris at More Value Entertainment, More Booking Agency for having me on these runs, on all these tours. It's been life changing, it's been career changing. And yeah, my life within the 1 year has been night and day. You know what I mean? Like I went from being stagnant in my environment to essentially like damn near being in the music industry at this
Right.
point. You know what I mean? Like it's been a roller coaster, but it's been worth the. I'm saying? It's been worth every single minute, every single penny. The tours were amazing though. They are independent tours.
Right.
And you're doing it out of pocket for the most part. So in a lot of cases, it is like you get what you pay for type
Right.
of ordeal. You know what I'm saying? You're thugging it out in a lot of ways. But the value in it all is you're paying to be in the spaces that can take you farther and for the people that do recognize your talent and your value.
Right.
So, you know, back at the crib when I was doing shows, it was more so like I'll do this open mic. I might get some studio time for free. I might win a prize or whatnot. You know, I might do a festival and that might be a good look. I might, you know, get some on a resume, but nothing to where like it's gonna take me to the next level.
Right.
It's kind of just like a training camp type of scenario where I'm just getting my skills up, getting my reps up, knowing what it's like to have an image, knowing what it's like to have an EPK and all that stuff. But now in these spaces that I'm in, it's like, oh no, like you do this show, you can get like a major label meeting, you can meet an A&R, you can get to the next city. You can go to the next major city. There's festivals going down in San Diego. There's stuff going down in Miami and whatnot. All of that is, this doors have been wide open ever since I've been doing the tour. So it's been super duper beneficial, bro. Yeah, night and day contrast, bro, for real.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And so, from the very first time you ever traveled for music
Mhm.
to your most recent trip that you just did, and the time frame of that, like, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from the first to like where you're at now, as far as it comes to traveling
Yo,
and music?
yo, King, you know what's crazy? Like the first, the first show I did out of state was Mexico.
Oh wow.
Low key, bro. Just thinking about that because I was thinking about that yesterday. Like, damn, it's been a year. I was thinking about all the people that I met on tour. Out of everybody that I know in my personal life, only two people have seen me like out of state.
Right.
And I was like, damn, I really did go out of the country. But the first show that I did within this past year of touring and whatnot was Mexico.
Okay.
That's mind blowing for real. But just I mean, shit, bro. From Mexico to now, it's a very interesting thing because I mean, I pretty much just came out of the gate swinging at that point.
Right.
Like to tour to Mexico and be there for spring break, taking in all the culture, really testing my Spanish. You feel me?
Right.
Being a reggaetonero and whatnot. It was eye opening. It was just like that was like the first thing that I saw where I was like, okay, like not only can my music take me this far, but this genre that I'm in can take me to the actual origins of, like Latin culture and all that stuff, all these different cities and whatnot. So it was very eye opening. With the very recent tour run that I did all through Florida, it just showed me that uh, it showed me a lot more so just like how built I am for a tour situation.
Right.
It put team in perspective as far as like a music management team, a traveling team, a road manager,
Right.
actually talking to like a CEO of a company and whatnot, what it takes to break into different markets. You have to be very unique in that sense. There's like strategic marketing in that because, I mean, we've been around the block, what I mean? We know a lot of people that move to a city and just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that go to LA and be like, oh, I'm gonna be a model, I'm gonna be a rapper. And then they come back to the crib like 6 months later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much like the Colorado story at that point. I mean, that's most of America, most of
Yeah.
the states, if I'm being honest. But to be behind or just have that backing and that support of someone who have uh, trial and error, like just tried everything to see what works in different cities and whatnot, to know that he has figured out a formula and a method to know how to tap into a Miami market, like doing the mic drops, doing the interviews, doing the media runs, and then following it up with a show. There's not many people that are doing that,
Right.
or have the wherewithal to do it. And there's people that have been doing music for years, traveling and whatnot. So just seeing that firsthand, seeing these different formulas, seeing these different tactics, it was mind boggling.
Yeah. And so, with everywhere that you've gone thus far, is there like a city that sticks out that kind of resonates with who you are and the type of music that you represent?
I would say, I mean, New York for sure. I mean, how many times was I there last
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
bro? I practically lived in Queens, bro. Like, shit.
yeah. Very diverse out there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. People that look like me, what I'm saying, talk like me,
Right.
have a similar personality, similar taste in music, different interests and whatnot. So New York is always going to be love. Miami and Orlando, they're basically just New York, but with a beach and, 90-degree weather. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Those are the main two. And then DC. I didn't expect DC to be showing me love
Okay.
like that, but
Shout out to
DC,
DC.
yeah, DC has been super duper loving, super duper caring. They look out for me on tour, all types of stuff, man. I'm trying to go back out there, what I'm saying, this year. So
Yeah, I love that. So I know, we've known each other for a while. We go way back, but
yeah,
even before we met, you've been doing music for so long, for decades now.
at this point,
Yeah,
yeah,
which is it's mind-boggling, but
yeah,
it's
it's insane.
inspiring at the same time.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So, what does success mean to you now than when you first started, and how has it evolved over time?
Yeah, we all have a very raw and imperfect understanding of success when we're younger,
Right.
especially like, we met in high school type shit. Between the ages of like 11 and 18, all you can put in perspective with success is, oh, I want to be on TV. I want to have, money, cars, clothes, bad bitches, all that stuff. And, that comes with it.
Right.
When you reach a certain height of success and certain height of fame and whatnot, that does come with it. How you navigate it is up to you. But as time has gone on and I've just invested into the journey the way that I have, I've learned that this is more about fulfillment. Like there's been so many times where I've had, some type of money or like some sort of like, the look of having like the girls and whatnot in the music videos and all that stuff. But I still felt lonely. I still felt empty
Right.
inside. I still felt like I still needed to prove something. I still feel like I didn't achieve anything quite yet. And for a while, I didn't. I was stagnant for a lot of years in this. And that's what a lot of people don't say in their journeys is like how stuck you can be doing years and years of work, perfecting your craft, doing all these shows, doing all these networking events and whatnot, and just be at the wall the
Right.
entire time. Like how do you what is your mental fortitude like when you're sitting at the wall for 5 years?
Right.
A lot of people don't discuss that. You know what I mean? Like it affects your mental health and it affects your emotional health. It's not a healthy thing to go through. So now that I've broken through on some ways and, I've stepped outside of my comfort zone and I found the resources that can help, I'm looking at it more and more as like, yeah, this is about fulfillment. This is about finding inner peace with my talent, uh, people that mean a lot to me in my life, affecting others, making others feel happy. Cause when I was rapping, bro, when you met me, like I was the shy, quiet kid, but I was all through like depression, childhood trauma and all that.
Right.
I was rapping so I could feel better. But at this point in my life, with all of these accomplishments under my belt, all the progress that I've made, I just want to share my happiness. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with everything that I'm doing with the reggaeton stuff. I don't swear in my music. You know what I mean? There might be a couple here and there, but it's not like a point of contention anymore.
Right.
I'm just like a Wahoo. There's no swearing in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it makes people go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So Yeah, this is about fulfillment by the end of the day, and I'm at peace. I can sleep well at night. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I'm good.
that's good. And I'm happy you said fulfillment because it's just like what brings you joy and happiness is shown through your music, but also it brings other people joy and happiness. And
Mhm.
so, would you say that you try to express all your emotions through your music, or is there some parts of yourself that it's hard for you to express truly how you feel in certain instances?
Yeah, I love that question because that's a day-to-day thing for the most part. Because coming from our environments, we don't have therapy like that. Support for mental health wasn't promoted like that the way that it is now.
Right.
So for a lot of young um, men of culture, a lot of artists, we are using music, sports, painting, aerobics, all that stuff. That's our therapy. That's our healthy outlet. So if I have all of this generational trauma, family trauma, trauma with friends, all that stuff, and I have these frustrations and I don't have a proper outlet, I'm going to go to music. So back in the day, bro, back when like 25 song mixtapes were popping, like the
Yeah.
Dat Piff era type shit.
Right.
Like I was on that wave too. Like most of my music was coming out of like rage, hatred, depression, anxiety, you know? But that was the only thing that could make me feel better and not like crash out in front of people or, drink my sorrows away type shit.
Right.
So that was like the only way that I was able to heal myself. And that's how most artists feel. Like you hear the Weeknd's music,
Yeah.
like especially like early Weeknd, bro. Like I want to hug him
Yeah.
and just tell him it's okay, bro.
Yeah.
You don't gotta snort coke off of a bitch's coochie, dog.
Oh my gosh.
Like, man, it's hard to go there, y'all. But yo, that's really what it is. But yeah, but nowadays, now that I've looked more into myself, now that I have more of an extensive vocabulary, have a further understanding of a lot of what's going on in my life, put my friendships into perspective, just who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
Right.
really sitting down and describing that, really
Yeah.
going into detail and saying, like, okay, what was this like in 2010? What was this like in 2015? What was this
Right.
like in 2020? What was it like in 2025 and 2026? What is it like now? Looking at it from those perspectives, really breaking it down in those increments, man, bro, like it'll make you it'll make you proud but sad at the same time. So nowadays with my music, now that I know that I've healed a lot of myself and I know that just putting depression in songs, it doesn't help the other person either,
Right.
contrary to popular belief.
Yeah.
It's like people were depressed with Eminem when he was talking, instead
Yeah.
of Eminem healing them with cleaning out my closet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with the reggaeton and what I'm doing now, I feel like the best remedy for anyone is to, party up, making people dance, making people sing along,
Right.
speaking in different languages. Like that's an interesting thing. That's different from what a lot of people are doing. Instead
Right.
of just yelling inside a microphone and just calling it music.
Right.
So yeah, I'm prioritizing the positivity by the end of the day.
I like it.
Yeah.
So if you were to put a word or a phrase on the creative season that you're in right now,
hmm
how would you label that, or what would you call the season that you're in right now when it comes to your music and your creations?
Yeah. I'm gonna use a different word than fulfillment because I've been driving that in the ground
Yeah.
this whole interview.
Right.
But I would say, well, three words technically: healed and healing.
Health and healing.
Healed and healing.
Okay.
Like it's just a continuous process because there's traumas we're gonna go out with.
Right.
There's a lot of pain that isn't gonna get fixed. There's a lot of things that are gonna go unanswered. But for as long as we can cure the majority of the pain that we are going through internally, emotionally, and mentally, and we can walk around with somewhat of true peace, then we're doing our job. So now that I have figured out my way of healing and the things that I want to do with my music, how I want to impact people and whatnot, yeah, I just want to share my happiness. I want to make people feel good. Um, yeah. Everybody's just down in the dumps. You don't know what people are fighting, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why we checking on our people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of time. So yeah, but my music is making sure y'all are okay. I'm checking in on y'all with my music type
Right.
shit.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Mm.
And so, since you've been doing music for so many years, one, have you been in modes and seasons where you wanted to quit? And if so, what helped you to kind of get back on track and to keep pushing even through the struggles of, maybe wanting to stop?
Dog, I wanted to quit 3 days ago. Like, bro, the thought of quitting, it's a real thing, but it's so irrational and spontaneous.
Right.
It's just like, and it's just a moment in time. It's not an absolute and it's not definitive.
Yeah.
But it is such a sporadic emotion that just happens, and it just comes from that short spurt of inadequacy. It'll be like, you'll think about the girl that curved you that you wanted to take to homecoming. You'll think about that time you had a bad day, that bad day that you had at work,
Right.
or like someone is talking about someone else's music a little bit more than yours at the moment. You'd be like, damn, I'm not getting anywhere. Whole time you just performed in front of like 1,000 people, or
Right.
like 100 people just showed up for you on a dime. Like, you gotta put all of it in perspective, bigger picture. Bad day doesn't equal bad life.
Right.
It's more so, it's not, people are so huge on what have you done for me lately and not what have you done.
Right.
What you have done within the past 10, 20, 30 years of your life, that's something to be super proud of.
Right.
We've had opportunities as James Rucker and Riaga. We've had opportunities that most people have not touched. It's not like our success is happenstance, but it's destiny at the same time.
Right.
Because we're putting so much energy into our craft and the things that we're loving and passionate about. So to know that we have these instances and we have this just realm of validation that not many people are seeking within themselves, which we can't take that for granted, bro.
Right.
So when you hear, I want to quit, let it happen, let it process, but don't let it be absolute and don't let it be a determining factor. I tell my brother K Chief this all the time. I was like, yo, do you know how many people we are disrespecting if we quit right now?
Right.
All the favors that people have done. Like, I've gotten a lot of stuff that should have cost $1,000 for free. There's so much. There's so many different things.
Right.
I just got
Favor.
off the strength of just love, passion, and just being cool with people. For me to quit, nah, that'd be disrespecting the gang. That'd be disrespecting the village, bro. I can't do that.
Yeah. I
That's a
agree.
reminder.
Yeah. And I like what you said, like people focus on like what have you done for me lately and not what have you done. So when you come into those moments of maybe self-doubt or maybe stuck in the what have you done for me lately, what's one moment in your career that you can go back to and kind of appreciate and remember like why you're doing it and why you started?
It's, man, Aquarius brain. I'm sorry. I had like 5 thoughts at the same time, but let's dissect them because they are relevant. So I think of 5 instances specifically. One is the moment that I decided to rap. I rap so I could feel better.
Right.
I got bullied. As you know, you've heard mad interviews of me. Getting bullied from school, running home, crying, eyes drying, seeing 106 in Park on the screen. I rap so I could feel better.
Right.
Now, I always remember that. 2, I mean, we just talked about it. Mexico, going out of the country.
Yeah, that's
super
huge.
super motivational, right? 3, one of my biggest career moves, even probably still my biggest career move till this day. We might see in a couple months, but to this day, when I opened for Tech 9, dog, 4
Yeah.
years ago. That
That's
was
good.
4 years ago, gang.
Wow.
That was 4 years ago. That's so wild.
That was a good time.
That was a great time, man. That was diff. That was a breakthrough, high key.
Yeah.
But just knowing how long it took to get there, 4 is like one of my epic failures. Was one of the I was supposed to open for Troy Ave back in 2017, fresh out of college and whatnot.
Okay.
And shout out my man Sean Asakura. He was part of the promotion team that was supposed to bring him out and do all this stuff. He had me right before Troy Ave, but then like there was another person that bought a slot and booted me out of the lineup to get
Wow.
before. And Troy Ave, when I was supposed to go, he wanted to go during my time.
Yes.
And I had an option to either perform right after him and just not perform whatsoever.
Yeah.
At the time, I was thinking, yo, mama ain't raised no quitter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I decided to perform after Troy Ave, but when I performed after Troy Ave, all the people that were there, they left. So I performed in front of an empty crowd. I felt humiliated. I was depressed the next day. I drank like at least a whole bottle of ZQL. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Just being like, I didn't want to wake up, bro. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to be awake for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just remember that day, I'm just like, yo, that was such a sunken place in my artist career, you know? And to know that I bounced back from that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm untouchable, bro. And then also the last thing is again, all the people that were here, James Rucker, Shauna Sakura, K Chief, DJ Coast, Timo Lit G, all the people that seen the journey, bro. Like a huge reason why we're here is like um, you respect me and my journey because you've seen me earn it. Like I didn't take handouts. I asked for help,
Yeah.
but I didn't ask to be like, yo, give me $1,000 to do this. You know, I wasn't going around being a groupie, taking pictures and all that stuff. Like I stayed solid with everybody and I let my talent speak through. So I just remember like, you know, all the people that were there, the people that were there when I was down, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are like the five things in my Aquarius brain that popped up when you said that, bro. But yeah, that's what I think of every time, just reflecting on the journey.
Yeah, that's huge. And you take the highs and the lows, and it's good that you still can think about the lows and, inspiring you to keep going from where you came from.
Yeah, the lows
Um,
stick with you, don't they?
yeah,
They stick
exactly.
with you. They stuck in the brain like
Yeah.
that.
But
Yeah.
then you have the highs to remember, like, why you're doing it and how far you've come as well.
Yeah.
And through your career, in music, it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of consistency. But what has your discipline and consistency and your music, and how has that helped you in life in general?
Yeah, it's given me alignment in a lot of ways. Like once you just figure out the thing that works for you that brings you calmness and stillness to your life, that starts applying to everything. So it'll apply to, your passion. So if you're passionate in art and whatnot, or you wanna get promoted at a job, you know what I'm saying, work the 9 to 5 and whatnot, just that stillness and that calmness. Like just regulating your emotions, regulating your thoughts, and that I feel like self-reflection, self-evaluation in a graceful way does you way more justice than being overcritical, being your worst critic. You know what I mean? Like be fair about your flaws, but be fair about your successes as well.
Right.
These are the things that I'm imperfect on. What can I do to progress? These are the things that I've succeeded in. What can I do to do better? Or was this necessary to get to where I'm at today? Really, if you just sit down and you just talk to yourself, if you just sit down and you just find the words, you can't express what you can't explain. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So if you sit down and find the words and you talk about what it took to get to where you're at, those are the things that are going to drive you all the way through. And I feel like, yeah, I've in my personal life, being sober helped a lot. Quitting the drinking. You know me, I'm hydration nation, bro. You
Right.
always see me with a gallon of water. I'm one of the, I'm
100%.
one of the first niggas to have like a gallon of water in the club like that consistently. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? They let
for
me in
sure.
with it too sometimes. You know what I mean? So yeah, just focusing on that and prioritizing the sleep again, prioritizing the positivity. That's putting positivity first will regulate any sort of thing, and that breeds to discipline.
Love it. And so when you talk about self-talk and those conversations you're having with yourself, how often are you having those with yourself, and how often do you think it's necessary for your own self?
So I'm crazy, so I do it pretty much every 15 minutes of my
Okay.
of my life, bro. Like I've talked to Sean about this and a few other homies sometimes. Like I do interviews with myself. Like, again, that comes from childhood trauma because I was the quiet kid,
Right.
and I would always be afraid to speak because someone is always judging me or trying to make fun of me. So, semi vulnerable because I've come to grips with this now in my healing journey. Like, I realized not too long ago, like, damn, I used to practice talking to myself because I didn't know what to say to people when they would talk to me, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I really was doing that. But in turn, that gave me like, um, that played a huge part in my affirmations. That's what I started to realize is like, okay, like I am great. I am good at this. These are great people in my life. These are the things that are happening. Why is this happening? If someone asks you this question, how do you answer it? Where do you come from? What's the knowledge behind it? What's the science?
Right.
Like valid questioning with yourself. Um, Yeah, but that's when I learned like one, words of affirmation is my love language, but two, like it just brings, I don't know, it gives your life more of a spectrum than it does like, because we're so narrow minded and selfish as human beings.
Right.
We can only focus on what's in front of our nose type shit. So we actually give a proper spectrum to your life and describing things like you can be a little bit more objective. You can be a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more standoffish, hands offish, hands on if you need to be.
Right.
You have way more of a you have that sense of urgency, but everything you have more relativity, more or less. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah.
So people they see the tours, they see you traveling, they hear your song on the radio, on all streaming platforms. They see you perform live, on stage. All these things, make up who you are and where you've come from. But what does behind the scenes Riaga looks like? What do people not see about you and how you create?
Man, bro, I'd say fourth wall Riaga, super duper introverted, super duper reserved. Um, I really like my space, so I don't answer a lot of phone calls. I don't answer a lot of texts. You know what I mean? Like even when you tap in with me, I'm like, I gotta hit you back, bro. I need this me time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm very isolated. I'm a very private person. I don't like people knowing about, you know, dating life, financial situations, family life. Like it's so layered and nuanced, and I don't expect people to understand outright. So I'm better off just being private and just keeping it all to myself and present it when we're in a good space or like you have somewhat of an understanding about who I am as a person. Um, in my work, um, I mean the best art is spontaneous. You know,
Right.
uh, Wahoo wasn't planned. You know, what I mean, Kalor wasn't planned. Pray for the Weak, your
Yeah.
favorite John.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean,
Yes.
that wasn't necessarily planned. Like literally, the best art it just comes from emotion, feeling, tinkering around, and just knowing your abilities and just going where it takes you. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of the music that I make is either I have to do it or I won't feel right at night.
Right.
So sometimes I will be in the studio a little bit longer or to just on my laptop a little bit longer to think like, does this feel right? Is this worth putting an extra hi hat in? You know what I mean?
Right.
Is this worth making it louder? Is this worth sending it to a friend and getting that second opinion and whatnot? Or is
Right.
it just worth saying fuck it and just go all in with it? Um, yeah, just going based off the emotion. I think the moment you try to manufacture it or you try to make it sound like a certain thing that's out there already, that's when you start sounding generic. That's when it starts sounding like not the real you. I'm here because of myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't come this far to not be myself. So just trust everything that you've been through and everything will follow through. Like people love the music because they can tell it's Riaga. They can tell it's a Riaga beat. They can tell it's a Riaga song. They can tell it's a Riaga vocal. They can tell when it's me singing, rapping, and whatnot. So just live in the authenticity, live in the personal development, live in the personal discovery.
Yeah. I love that.
I mean,
So, what would you tell, say an artist or a kid that wants to start doing music of any sort, or maybe even a struggling artist right now, kind of going through their seasons of time? What advice would you give to them to kind of motivate them to keep going?
fuck everybody. I have to say it, bro. Fuck everybody, including, sad to say, but it's a harsh reality, including family, friends, coworkers that you had if you ever worked a 9 to 5, students, classmates. No one is gonna understand you like you. No one is gonna understand you like you. There is nothing in this world that is gonna be like you or replicate you. We are humans. We're all puzzle pieces to each other, but you are here and destined to be an individual. So live in that, breathe that, understand that. Asking for people's approval, it gets you nowhere. Stop asking for permission. Be yourself unapologetically. Live in your validation. Live in your value. Your life, your way. This is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just because there's no rules to this shit by the end of the day, and that's my main thing too. It's like
Right.
no one knows what they're doing. The adults don't know what they're doing. The adults are capping. All the young kids out there, the adults are all cap. They do not know what they are doing. Your mom doesn't know. Your abuelita doesn't know. The teacher doesn't know. We are all just on a whim right now, just hoping that we can make rent the next month. That's all we're doing. You know what I mean? And we're just figuring it out along the way. But that's really what this life is about. So don't put too much stress on yourself. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Your ideas are raw. Your creation is raw. You're gonna perfect it along the way. But 1% towards 100% is better than 0% towards 0%. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's real.
yeah, so make sure that you're just adding to the pot every single day. Sometimes you put a penny in the piggy bank. Sometimes you put $1. Sometimes you put 20. But if you're investing time, energy, effort, money, all that stuff, everything will come back to you. The universe is real. Energy always comes back. I believe in karma for real.
Yeah. And so to kind of go back on to kind of really like focusing on yourself, focusing on your voice, and kind of leaving the noise outside from others and not looking for validation. It's easier said than done for sure,
Always
especially
is.
in this digital age that we live in, where, everybody's being compared to everything.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the best advice for people to kind of help them tune out the noise as best as they can, you know?
Definitely walk away from your phone at least once a day. Whether that's turning it off or actually like leaving it on, putting it in sleep mode, putting it in the dresser, and just being in your room for like an hour. Disconnecting is one of the healthiest things that you can do in a social media era, in an internet era, in a chat GPT era, in an AI era, where we can type in words and a hit single could come out in less than 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's unreal, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how is a human supposed to process and feel about themselves and feel about life when you can be Jay-Z yourself?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not there's a true disconnect in that. So I think just removing the phone and electronics overall, that's important. Like we got to remember like as humans, we are animals as well.
Right.
We're not meant to be in industrial settings 24/7. We're not meant to be around electricity 24/7. Like we are meant to be amongst nature. We are meant to be drinking. We meant to drink water. We're meant to be in the fresh air, be in the elements of snow, rain, sunshine and all that stuff, being in the mountains, being amongst the trees, feeling the dirt, between our feet and whatnot. So the more that we can realign ourselves with nature, the more that we can step away from electronics and give ourselves some sort of peace and clarity. Because by the end of the day, bro, you can turn social media off. You have the option.
Right.
You're choosing not to.
Yeah.
But that's because that dopamine hit, the amount of likes, the amount of shares. Like you want your content to work so bad and we get so obsessive over it that it becomes an addiction. To step away from it and just let the universe take over and just let your content and your creations take stride without, you monitoring it,
Right.
with a baby monitor and shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like that type of time. Like, yeah, it'll do you justice. So disconnecting as much as possible.
Yeah. That's huge. And so for you personally, what is something that you feel that you still struggle with that you're trying to improve within your own self to be a better artist, be a better band, be a better person? What's something that you are working on for your own self?
Man, bro, such a great question because with a lot of what I've done, um, with especially within this past year with like touring and whatnot, right? Like that validates so much.
Right.
When you can go from city to city, go to another country, open for bigger, mainstream artists, go into cities like New York City, you know what I mean, Atlanta, Miami, and stuff like that. Like, what gets better than that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it takes away a lot of the questions that you had within yourself. It's like, am I really good enough? But now I'm in a space where it's like, well, I just got to be in the environments now to really see what it means to be in the real music industry. Because let's be very clear on the LIV'N podcast, What we are doing independently, fashion, music, film, it is not the real music industry. It is not the real fashion industry. 95 to 97% of the people that you embark with in your region, locally, in your city, they are not in the real music industry. If you were in the real music industry, you would have multiple meetings with Atlantic Records, Def Jam Records. You would have over 5 figures of money each on each check that you do. Your music would be posted in different movies, films, this, that, and the third. You don't have those consistent relationships with ESPN, TNT, and stuff like that. So, literally, what we are doing right now, and self awareness is important. What we are doing, we are all self curated entertainment. That's what we are. We are self curated entertainers. We are doing the best that we can with the money that we do have and the settings and the opportunities that we are able to curate in our environments. That's all we are. So, and if you want to grow, and this is where I took the leap of faith with, last year with touring and whatnot,
Right.
I got to go to the places where it's the real industry, you know? Like in New York, you can do one open mic and you can go to Atlantic Records. You can go see 50 Cent yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have that type of access. We don't have that, in these type of settings currently. So putting yourself in the environments where not only is it susceptible for you to be successful and for you to obtain success, but to have the real example in front of you. It's such a different ball game when you can actually work out with LeBron James and learn basketball
Right.
rather than just seeing him on TV or just going to a game whenever he's in town. That's a different type of perspective. So immersing yourself in the environment where you can actually make progress in the thing that you want to succeed in. That's super duper important. That's what I've been doing with myself.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that you constantly tap into your Latin roots and your Peruvian roots and
Appreciate that, bro.
have really hit the head on the nose with that.
Yeah. Am I
And
the first Peruvian you know?
I don't know. I have to think about that. But I'm
Word.
gonna say yes for time's sake.
Word.
And so with tapping into your culture more,
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta ask, what did you think about the Bonito Bowl with Bad Bunny, and how do you think how does that influence you as an independent artist, and how do you think that influences the culture?
Such a great question. Such a relevant topic and a relevant time. First of all, Bad Bunny is the GOAT. He's probably gonna. It's like him, Daddy Yankee, Pitbull, Enrique Iglesias, Romeo Santos. Like he's there now.
Right.
Yeah, that solidified it. You know what I mean? Like maybe even bigger than all of them type shit. You know what I mean? Super proud of Bad Bunny. Proud to be a Latino, second gen Peruvian. My abuelita came to the States in the 1950s. Had my aunties, my mom, and my tios. Just coming from straight from Peru to Utah. You know what I mean? Like to see the representation on the screen and for him to say all of America, not
Right.
just the U.S. Because that's a common, in regional talk. That's definitely like a misconception. Like the U.S. is the only America in North America and South America, where they have America in
Yeah.
both of their names as a continent. You
Right.
know what I mean? For him to, list all of them, like all of South America, like the Caribbean, Canada, bro, like. He really put the representation in its proper context and gave it a proper perspective. So the Benito Bowl was super duper important. It's funny how all of us as adults are arguing about whether humans are aliens or not when Earth was made for humans.
Right.
It's just like, damn, we're a bunch of little kids. There are no adults in adulthood. There are none. We are all immature as hell. But yeah, the Benito Bowl was super duper important. Proud to be a Latino. I can't wait to see where he goes from here. I think for me personally, and any other Latin artist, male, female, non-binary, R&B singer, rapper, and reggaeton, doesn't matter. This is our moment to follow what Bad Bunny did, get in these rooms and follow suit, honestly. Tell your journey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a second gen mixed black and Peruvian man from a city called White Wakanda, the only reggaeton artist headlining festivals in the Denver metro area.
Right.
You know, like that's a real story there, bro. You know what I mean? Like a person who doesn't, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I do this reggaeton thing so well that it's brought me around the country, and I landed in Mexico for one of my first shows of the year last year. You
Right.
know, like that puts it in perspective. Is like, why wouldn't I see that all the way through?
Yeah.
As much as I was great at rapidy rap, and I was super duper lyrical. You see me in the ciphers in
Yeah.
high school. I was respected as an MC. You seen me at the house parties, you know, all that stuff. You seen it with your own two eyes. The rest of the gang too. Like
Yeah.
when we were coming up in the Echo. But the thing that took me here was reggaeton, me singing Spanish songs, making people dance. Like I did years of just being on the wall with rap and just being an underground rapper. I literally went from pretty much an underground lyrical miracle battle rapper type of nigga to being a reggaeton pop star, essentially.
Right.
You know, like that's a story within itself. So following suit with Bad Bunny, myself, other independent artists out there, both in the US and outside the US, this is our moment to really follow suit and, you know, let them know what the fuck is good. You know what I mean?
I love that. So in the same breath, now that we're halfway through February, but we're still in the beginning of the year. What does 2026 look like for Riaga as artist?
You know, we be talking about this all the time, bro. Within the past 3 months, it's like I think this year in particular with 2026, I think this is the year where my life is going to change absolutely forever. I'm in the next phase in life. This is going to be one of my biggest breakthroughs, if not the breakthrough that I've been wanting out of my music career. The thing that I'm very passionate about. But also, like, I know for a fact, like, I've been distant already. I've disconnected a lot to make this happen already. This is where, like, I literally go into the I walk alone, still walking by myself mode.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where I go into straight solitude. This is where I become the samurai in the anime. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm a whole ass anime character, bro. If we really sit down and just talk about my life and the things that I've gone through and, you know, how I carry myself, the things I talk about, my quotables, like, this is just a whole ass anime for me. And I feel like this season in my anime, I think this is where I'm touching heights that I never touched before. And if you're built and you're loving enough, you can come with me. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
only if you're built for this. Because I'm not. I can put you on, but I ain't gonna hold your hand. You know?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I love to see it. Love to hear it, man. And so as you bring up artists like, Pitbull and Daddy Yankee and Bad Bunny, of course, and the things that they have done and are still doing, what type of legacy do you want to leave with your music, say 20 years, 30 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, shared my happiness with the world, lived in my fulfillment, lived in my value. Um, Legend in my own right, to be honest. Like I did it my way. I went out on my terms, and I lived unapologetically. Honestly, in my personal life, with a lot of things that I wanted when I was younger, I mean, I'm checked out on. You know, I don't want the things that I used to want 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm in a space now where I'm like, oh no, I am living in my fulfillment. I'm living in my path all the way through. And I'm going to see this all the way through because I cannot live my life without knowing. And that's what I want people to understand. Like, I live this life to know and see with my own two eyes just how great I was, how great I am, how I impacted people. And the name Riaga lives forever. You know what I mean? I do it for Riaga Udo Viva. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I do it for, the people that stuck with me, like yourself, Sean, and everybody else. Like, we did this together type shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's worth seeing it all the way through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's real. And, the legacy you want to leave is, bringing happiness and joy, and you want to motivate and
yeah,
inspire
yeah,
people.
yeah.
But what would you say is the biggest lesson that, someone's taught you, whether it be friend, family, mentors, another artist?
Oh man, bro. Need a separate episode for that one. So many people that influenced me along the way.
Yeah, but it's just like just
Yeah.
one thing that kind of just sticks out and it kind of, just kind of helps continue to keep you motivated, continue to keep you going, and just a good lesson for you.
I have my mantra because I can't boil it down to one person. I think that's not fair. I don't think that's fair. But one thing that has kept me going and something that I live by is determination creates domination. Uh, Created that phrase when I was like 14, 15-ish, I want to say.
Right.
You know, back when the student athlete days were popping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like talking to town with the hoops type shit. But yeah, when I was in lock-in mode as a student athlete with basketball, what I live by is determination creates domination because it's a fact.
Right.
Like the more focused and honed in, the strong focus that you have, the more locked in you are, that's when you outwork the competition. That's
Right.
when people start to notice you. That's when people start replicating. That's when people start saying your name. That's when you build the buzz, you know what I mean? But it's all because of how you honed in on yourself, your abilities, and how you want to be better. And that takes determination. But in turn, that creates domination. So determination creates domination. And yeah, I mean, the support is real in that, you know, like people such as yourself, Sean, TC at True Studios. Um, yeah, there's endless amounts of people. The amount of people it takes for one person to get far, we underestimate it, bro.
Right.
We underestimate it so much. It takes hundreds of thousands of people to make a company work, to sell a T-shirt. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
like to sell a logo. You know what I mean? To put the logo in a bag like this. You know what I mean? Like this means something because of the hundreds and thousands of people that you met. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we walk together for real. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
That's real. So I got a couple final questions for you.
So
But before I get to those questions, I do want to acknowledge you for a second. Um, just want to acknowledge you for the man that you have become and continue to become. I want to acknowledge you for the consistency you've had over decades of
thank you, bro.
doing your music and growing both within your craft, but as a man and as a human being. And for all the things that you've gone through with like your struggles and your mental health and the fact that you're still here and inspiring others to do so and also just being there for others, when you have so much going on as well. And it takes a lot. And just the giving and loving person that you are never goes unnoticed. And so your hard work and dedication has gotten you to where you're at today. And I want to acknowledge you for just everything that you've done to this point and will continue to do in the future.
I love you too, Daddy.
Yeah.
Nah, but thank you so much, bro. That means a lot coming from you. You know, someone that's, you know, seen a journey from afar and being involved personally. You know, um, a lot of people, when I talk about you, I talk about our friendship and whatnot. It's like, yo, like me and James, like we were cool in high school, but like we weren't like consistent like that. Like I was cool with your mans first,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we were kind of just see each other in the hallway. You know, we'd be
Right.
at the same parties sometimes, be at the football games and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But actually sitting down and getting to know each other at these past 6 years of ourselves, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being at our best versions, being at our more quality versions of ourselves, and just seeing how we've just thugged it out and just been together through thick and thin, bro. Like it's a true testament to brotherhood. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I truly appreciate you like giving me this moment and saying all that because I don't hear that every day. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
like, oh, he's great at rapping. Oh, you're good at reggaeton. That's all I hear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like to hear that, somebody that's seen the journey both outside and inside looking in, you know what I mean? Like that means the world to me, bro. So thank you.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah.
And so I got two final questions for you.
We bet.
But this next one is called the Three Truths.
Three truths.
So I got it from my guy Lewis House. Shout out.
Shout out, bro.
All right, and so in this it's a hypothetical situation. You can live to be as long as you want. You can live to 120. You can do everything you want to do in life. You know, you can win all the Grammys. You can go on all the world tours, all the sold out crowds.
Right.
You can have all the money and the houses that you want. You're on the cover of all the magazines. And you achieve every single thing you want to in life. But when it's all said and done, and whenever your final days are, we don't have any of that to remember you by. So all the Grammys are gone, all the world tours are gone, all the videos, all the podcast episodes,
Right.
all the Forbes covers of magazines, all gone.
All that, yeah.
And the only thing you can leave behind is a piece of paper with three truths that you want to pass along for us to remember you by and to live by. what would yours be?
Oof, this is beautiful. That's a hell of a way to go out. God damn, bro. So well, let me ask this: with the three truths, do they have to be like one words, or can it be like sentences?
No,
Or
yeah, just three
okay,
three things that
okay,
you can write down that
okay,
represents who you are and what you believe in.
okay. All right, big bet. So I would say, how can I break this down? This is this is tough. Love fuels the world. It's one of the first things I would say. Love is at the core. Um, this only works if you participate.
Yes.
Togetherness is real. I don't mind help for as long as it's actually help. You know what I mean? Third thing, this is tough, bro. And I got these questions before. You know what I'm saying? Last night I was thinking about this all day type
Yeah,
shit.
well, this one wasn't in there.
No
So.
word. Last thing I would say, I'll probably just give my mantra out, honestly. Determination creates domination. I got nothing else in the tank after that, bro. If I'm being honest, because it's like the love and the happiness, you gotta treat that. You gotta treat that first. I'll probably say that actually. I would say love at the core. Determination creates domination. Prioritize positivity. That's actually what I would say. Those are the three that I would leave.
Perfect.
That's what I would do.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yes. I got more. If I sat down with it a little bit longer, I'd probably get 10 of them. But right now, we're gonna do those three right now on the Living Podcast.
All right. And so the final question I have for you is, in this season of your life, what does living mean to you?
I told you this after the Tech Nine show. Living means infinite validation. That was the thing that I told you once we got back to Colorado and I opened for Tech Nine, something that no one has done. A lot of people haven't done in life at that magnitude, with that crowd, doing that type of music, with that type of reaction, everything that happened. I told you, you asked me, how did it feel? I was like, I feel like I'm living in infinite validation. So that's how I'm living.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Everybody, Riaga. Appreciate it.
Look, it's the gang.
And we out.